Alright, so I thought I'd do a quick test flight here of the Zibo latest version at 3.24 Echo. I've got it loaded up here at Phoenix Airport over on the Air National Guard side, which is the south side of the airport. Just for convenience and quick departure, we've got the what is this livery called? I guess factory new, so it hasn't even been painted. Looks like our fuel truck is pulling away. We're ready to jump into the cockpit here and start doing a few touch and goes with the 2.4 Echo Zibo here. See how it handles. Now I did do just a quick test flight when I downloaded it and installed everything, and I can tell already the flight characteristics are quite different than what I'm used to. And my last Zibo was I can't remember the exact version, but it was a little while back. It's a couple months old, so I wasn't on the latest and greatest. You know, I wasn't on like the any of the 2.4. I think I was still on the 2.3 something version. So let's go ahead and give this a try, see how it handles. We'll go ahead and get our power up here. Get our position lights on. We'll start the APU. Alright, got a good light there. Let's see here. Get our seat belt signs on, smoking sign on, and we will see how this thing starts up. I can hear the APU starting up there. We got ground power, so let's go put on some ground power here. And I'll try to adjust the volume here. I'm doing this as a recording, and I know that sometimes the volume's a little bit different between streaming and recording, so I'm keeping an eye on my levels here. I might have to adjust those so that we don't get too loud in the airplane. Let's see. All right, what are we on? We're on ground power. Let's go ahead and get our IRSs aligned. And there we got GPU power. Let's go ahead, or sorry, APU power. Let's go switch over to that. Turn the packs on. The packs, I mean the APU bleed here. We're not going, we're just doing touch and goes, so I'm just going to set this for field elevation at Phoenix here. I think it's 1050 or maybe 1150, I believe. Close enough. Alright, let's get the FMC set up here. I also do have I have the F-Mod sounds here, although I noticed that on the prior flight that I did, some of the sounds, at least I can't hear them, so we'll see. There was that one sound where you put the wing lights on the ground here, and you get, or sorry, when you put the seatbelt sign on, you normally hear like the stewardess saying that you know, everybody needs to be seated, blah blah blah, right now, and I'm not getting that. And I don't even hear it out in the background anywhere, so that might have just changed. I like to get my panel lights on here a little bit. Yeah, like I was saying, I have the F-Mod sounds, and I do have. It's driving me bananas. Come on, all the way up. I do have the RG Mod on here. The nice folks over there that do the RG Mod posted their 2.4 Echo version for this latest version of the Zibo the other day, so I threw that in here. I think I got it all working. Okay, we're not going to put any of this. This is, like I said, we're just doing touch and goes here for test flight, so I'm just going to not even put anything in here. Just going to initialize everything so we got our instruments here. Now, let's see, we go route, performance. I guess we can, might as well just toss this stuff in here. What do we got? 8,000 pounds of fuel. 0 in the center tanks. I'm not going to use any of this, but, or, you know, like I said, I'm going to be hand flying this, so not really going to bother there. We'll just put 5 here, see if that comes up. And we're going to do 5,000. Alright, temperatures. I did look through the forums. I saw that there's a little bit different the way this functions with the auto throttle. I guess you have to set, you got to set the outside temperature in this performance here to get it to engage and stay engaged while you're on the ground. Otherwise, you can engage the auto throttle when you're like at 400 or 500 feet or something like that. Yeah, I don't know if this is where you have to set it, but I'm gonna, well, I don't know, let's set it. What the heck, we'll do slash, what's our temperature here? 13, we'll say 10. Let's see if it takes that. Plus 10, okay. We'll see if maybe that one setting actually does the trick there. And again, I'm just doing this just to get our CG trim. Yeah, the CG trim, like I said, I noticed that the handling of the plane is quite a bit different than that 2.3 version that I was working on, or that I was running. And I did the one. I think I did like 2 landings with it. Both of them were very hard. So I got to adjust my speed here a little bit. We'll see. I mean, this is giving us a V2 speed of 132, and I'm assuming you normally, not to make a big complicated thing, but 132 plus about 5 knots. It's like 137 for your final approach touchdown over the numbers type of airspeed. So that's kind of the ballpark we're gonna shoot for here. Let's see. Okay, let's turn on our airports here. We'll zoom out a little bit. Looks like I've already got from my prior flight, I've got the Phoenix VOR, and I got it lined up with the actual runways here, 258. So we'll use that. I think I have, yeah, I also got the ILS frequency, so it retained that. That's for 25 left, I believe. I don't know, we'll see. Alright, I think that's all we're going to do with the FMC here. So let's get the engine started and get flying here. Put our electric hydro pumps on first. Okay, yaw dampener on. We don't have any fuel in the center tank, so we'll leave those fuel pumps off. Otherwise, gonna leave everything here looking good. Put our smoke into on, or no smoking. Window heat we're not going to need. With probe heat we'll put on. That's on. Trim heat, or trim air, we'll put that on. Alright, we'll turn our packs off and get the engine started. One thing I did notice here was that, I'll do them one at a time here just for the heck of it. I did notice that the spool up here seems to be a little bit slower. I think it, normally with the other version I could get it up to like between 20 and 25% and then engage fuel. This one here, let's see how it goes. Well, seems to be going better now. The last time I flew it, it seemed to almost bottom out at like 18, but I was doing both engines at the same time, so I'm not sure if that makes a difference. Alright, again, test flight, we're just screwing around to see how the Zibo works. I'll put in my do my squawk there so we get any displays on here. Okay, so we got a good start on 1. Or correction, number 2. Now we'll start 1. Yeah, that's definitely working a little bit better here. I don't know, like I said, I'll have to try that again to see if I just do both of them starting up and see how it spools up. Alright, 20 fuel. we'll get that stuff started on here, and then I'm going to go ahead and turn down the volume here a little bit. We'll give it a minute here. Alright, let's jump in here. Let's turn down our aircraft interior and exterior and environment down in there. See how that looks. Okay, yeah, that's a lot cleaner there. Hopefully it comes out on the video, like I said. I can turn it up and down here on my my OBS. There we go. Alright, so engines are running. Let's see, what do we want to do here? Let's get back up here. Okay, we go to engine power. Turn our bleeds for the engines on, packs on. We'll leave everything else looking good. We can turn our APU off now. Hit the brake, we lose our ground power availability. Okay, I think we're all set up there. Actually, we got to do our lights beacon on. We'll do our logo on, even though there's no logo. Alright, let's reset that. Double check that. Looking good. Okay, flaps to take off, so we're going to do flaps 5. Let's watch them come down. Got a nice sound there. I think that sound is a little bit different. I didn't remember hearing that on the prior version. Alright, I'm going to check my spoilers while I'm here. All of them coming up, nice and smooth, and down. Got a little enunciator, or the sound there I could hear. Let's see, I wonder, can you hear that sound from the backside? No, you don't hear it from the backside, but you hear it from the front side. Alright, so I'm going to go flight director on, and so now auto throttle, like I said, well, we haven't set anything up here. Let's just set this up a little bit for us. So altitude, we're only doing some pattern work here, so we'll just set a reference at 4,000. Airspeed, let's see if I can do this as quick as I can. We'll set like 240 or something. Heading, okay, we got our ILS set up, 258 over here. We'll put the other flight director on too. And I think we are all set up here. So normally you could actually arm the throttle at this point with the older version. Ooh, there it goes. It's staying on. Now what was happening before is it would just switch. Whenever I clicked it, it would just click right off. So yeah, I think you gotta set that temperature. Where was it? It was at 10 degrees. Here we go, right there. Select that temperature. I punched something in there, and now it's actually letting me do that. So good to know. We'll disengage it for right now. All right, let's get over to the runway and take off. We'll do our taxi lights on. Brakes are off. We'll double check. Flaps are set. Let's power up, see how it goes. I did notice that the plane in general just seemed much heavier. And you can see that I've only got 8,000 pounds of fuel. I've got the weather set up for just the default, high cirrus. So I don't think we have any winds with that. Try to keep my frame rate up as much as I can here. I'm running on a little bit of an older computer. hence I get a little bit of stuttering here. And I can tell the engine sounds are pretty high here, so I'm going to turn that down just a little bit here. Alright, it might be a little better. Just so you can hear me. One thing I'm going to do here is go into my rendering options. I'm going to turn off reflections or shadows. Here we go. I'm going to disable all shadows, see if that helps me with my frame rates a little bit. I think it did here a little bit. Cross over, I think it's 2.5 left right here. We'll come around. Once I get on the runway, I'm gonna turn.
Approaching 2.5 left.
Yeah, I'm gonna turn these shadows back on. Let's get a little bit more realistic looking. So we'll cross over here and then come back around, make a right turn, and head back onto the end of this runway. We'll use 2.5 left for departure, and then we'll see what we do on our touch and goes. So far the sounds look sound pretty good. All right, let's get ourselves slowed up over here. Alright, so I'm going to hit the wing lights where you would normally hear, you know, prepare for departure. Okay, that works. It's got an extra little ding-dong there. And a little bit something else there the stewardess was saying.
Approaching 2.5 left.
That's a little different than the prior version I'm running, or was running. Well, still am running. Alright, let's get on the end of the runway here, and then we'll get set up for departure. We'll do right traffic.
On runway 2.5 left.
Alright, let me go ahead and put my shadows back on, because yeah, it looks better that way. What else can I do over here? Water I've got off. I never really play around with that. Texture quality, ambient occlusion. Oh yeah, look at that. You can see it. You can see the difference right there. Watch this. Okay, with it off, with it on. So we'll definitely leave that off. Okay. We'll leave that as it is. We'll go to auto braking, RTO. Flaps are set. Landing lights on. We're trimmed up, we're ready for departure. I'm not going to use, well, you know what, we'll use the auto throttle. What the heck? Let's see if it works. I haven't done that before. So we got the temperature set, we got our auto throttle armed, we got our speed. Let's go ahead and click that. Alright, that's spooling up our engines. I think it was, 134 was our V2. Coming up on V1. Rotating. gear coming up. See, we get this light here. Below glide slope. Okay, that's fine. That's because I got the ILS frequency set. Alright, just manually flying it right now, other than the throttle.
1000.
Go up to 2 degrees on the flaps. Gear to off. I'm going to go ahead and trim a little bit here. Let's take a look outside. It's a little bit louder. There's Phoenix. Bring the flaps all the way up. Trimming up a little bit. Still waiting for the leading edge to come all the way up. Okay, auto throttle is throttling back a little bit as we are approaching 240. There goes the leading edge slats. Alright, let's jump back in here. Alright, we're at 4,000, so I'm going to trim for level flight here, and I'm just going to go ahead and make a right-hand pattern. We'll do touch and go.
Bank angle, 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 bank angle.
Yeah, I'd love to turn that off somehow. Alright, I'm going to take the throttles myself. Yeah, the plane definitely feels heavier than the prior versions here. And we'll just come all the way back around to, what was it, 078. Let's take a quick look outside while we're in this turn. Make sure we don't descend too much there. Alright, so you can see I've got the VOR2 on the Phoenix VOR there. I don't know if it's called Paradise or what. PXR. Got it lined up, like I said, with the excuse me, generally the approach into the runways there says visual reference. We'll try to keep our speed up here a little bit until we get a beam of the runway. So landing lights are still on. We're gonna do we'll hand fly this entire one right here, this circuit. You can see I've got quite a bit of controller throw just to kind of maneuver it. That's all the way. Very heavy feeling. I wonder if I gotta adjust something. That's all the way over. Alright, let's try to hold 4,000 right here. Come inbound to here a little bit. Okay, throttle back, try to get us down to below, let's see, what's our gear limit here? 250, 240. Flaps, gear limit 270, okay. So it says 270. Alright, get my views squared up here. Alright, we are abeam the airport, so let's go ahead and drop our gear at 240 knots. You can see our gear coming down right there. And descending a little bit there while I'm not paying attention. Alright, we'll trim up a little bit. We're down to 129. I'm going to go ahead and do 2 notches of flaps. Trim down. Throttle all the way back. Let's get ourselves slowed down to about 190-ish or so. Still trimming down. Alright, gears down. Landing light is on. We're going to be doing a touch and go here, so I'm not going to arm these spoilers, which I normally would do. See, like that. You get that indicator there. And I'm not going to set the auto braking. We're going to touch down on the runway. I think, even though I didn't arm the spoilers the first time I flew it, they seem to have deployed even when I did the thrust reversers. The one flight that I did. Alright, we'll start making our turn out here. We'll go do 10 flaps. Start picking up our ILS frequency there. Try to hold our altitude right here. I think 3,300, and we should intercept it just coming over the river. Yeah, this thing feels very, very heavy. Try to hold about 160 here on the base leg. And I think we're gonna do 225 right. Okay, so even though the ILS there is set for 25 left, we're going to go in for 25 right, as it's a little bit longer runway, so the glide slope won't exactly be right on. Alright, we'll start turning here and start getting down. We should be a little bit lower here because the 25 left runway is a little bit farther away, so we should actually stay sort of below the glide slope in order to reach the longer runway that comes up a little bit sooner. Let's see, let's take a look out here. Yeah, see, we're overshooting it already. Alright, we'll go to full flaps. We'll do, actually we'll do 30 degrees of flaps for this landing. Get back over the river here. Okay, so our reference speed was what, 137 I think I said? So we'll shoot for 137 over the numbers on the approach there. We're going to be doing a touch and go, so as soon as I touch down I'm going to bring flaps up, go to full power, and I will double check my speed brakes. Actually, I think I'm going to take a look outside just to make sure. So we'll touch down, take a quick look outside to see if the speed brake's deployed. They are not armed, so I'm not expecting them to. I'm going to touch my thrust reversers ever so slightly just to see if that deploys them automatically, even though they're not armed. Alright, so flaps 30, gears down. We're trimmed up pretty much for 145 right here.
Approaching 2, 5, right.
Okay, so we're at about 143. Looking at the, what is it, the PAPI lights, VASI lights. I always call them VASI, even though they're PAPI, I think, but they're a little bit low, but that's okay. We want to touch down early so we get plenty of room for our touch and go here, and our check on the spoilers. Alright, so there's 138-ish on the airspeed. We got our indicator light here because we're off on we're not doing that approach, even though that's what's tuned in. Alright, there's 136, what do we say, 137, let's give it a little bit of power here.
200.
I'm going to try to touch down right at about 137. See how that does.
100. 50. 40. 30. 20.
Okay, 20, throttling back. Pulling up to a flare. Oh, that was a nice one. Alright, let's take a quick look. Touch the speed brakes. Yeah, there we go. Okay, come back down. Spoilers down, flaps up, throttle full. Rotating.
4,000 remaining.
Gear up. Start re-trimming here as our flaps are coming up. Okay, so the spoilers came up. I did not have them armed, but they came up anyway when I just touched the thrust reversers.
1,000.
Alright, just trimming up here a little bit. We'll do one quick circuit here. Okay, gear back to off. We'll try full stop landing this time. And yeah, disregard the bank angle warning. I'm gonna really manhandle it here because we're gonna do a close in circuit here. Coming around to a heading of 078. And like I said, we're going to do a close-in circuit this time. I'm actually going to keep my speed up a little bit here. So that 137 definitely worked out nice. We did a little bit of a float there, but that was probably the best landing I've done. I've done like maybe that was probably my 4th landing in this version of the Zibo, and that was by far the smoothest one. And I was right on the money there, so on the 137 speed over the numbers. All right, we'll come out a little bit here because I don't want to do another super tight turn. And we'll go for a full stop this time. We'll test the auto braking there. It almost felt like the auto braking engaged too when I was going to go around. It sort of felt like the auto braking was actually working even though it was off. I could be wrong, but that's kind of what it felt like. Okay, let's go gear down here. We'll go to 5 flaps this time, since we're kind of coming in pretty close. Go ahead and retrim there. I'm pushing the yoke quite a bit forward here. All right, shooting for about 190, I think. All right, and we will do 2 on the auto braking. We're gonna go ahead and arm our spoilers this time. All right, let's go ahead and make a nice quick turn here. We got to have a quick turn here because we're actually going quite a bit faster than we were, I think, when we were doing the other one there on the departure end. I know when we want to kind of be over the river, so there's the river. Turn out of that a little bit. So far, yeah, definitely the feeling on the ailerons is quite a bit more heavy feeling, like I said. All right, so I went to, I think, 15 flaps here. Okay, gear is down. We'll go 30 flaps again this time. And hold our altitude here at about 2,000. Alright, get our airspeed there. Let's hold 150 for right now. Alright, so gear down, flaps are set at 30, landing lights on, and we got our auto braking set this time to 2. We're going to be doing full stop on 2.5 right. We're going to shoot for that 137 airspeed right over the numbers. I think we got 2 white, 2 red on the Pappy. Get trimmed up here for
approaching 2.5 right.
Oh, I'm guessing about a 1. I mean, I'm keeping an eye on my actual descent rate here. I know in the other Zibos, usually, you know, standard approach was usually right around 650 ish. Let's throttle back here. I'm a little bit high this time. Throttle all the way back. I want to get down on that 137. See how that this landing goes this time.
300.
Alright, there we go. Back on the
200.
our descent path here. Bring up just a tad bit of power. Try to hold 137 over the numbers. Trimmed up.
100. 50, 40, 30,
It's a tiny bit slow.
10,
Throttle idle. A little bit of a flare. And getting a floating there. Alright. Thrust reversers out. Okay, thrust reversers down. Flaps up, spoilers down. Manual braking. Well, that wasn't too bad. 128 feet. Did float it a little bit there, though I didn't have my airspeed under control until right at the end there. It came in a little bit fast and a little bit high, so I had to kind of screw around with it right there. Alright, let's take this turn off here, and we'll do a replay of that landing there, just to see if I want to see if the spoilers came up. They were armed, but I want to see if they came up before I hit the thrust reversers. Okay, go landing lights off. We'll just pull around to the south side over here and then do a replay.
Approaching 07 right.
Doing a fast taxi here. And we will park it right where we found it, at the Arizona Air National Guard terminal here. Let's see, I think we'll park it right here. It even feels heavier taxiing. I noticed I gotta definitely give it a little bit extra, got a little extra engine power there to get it running, or on the taxiway. All right, let's go ahead and put our brake light on, or brakes on. And we'll leave it running. Let's do a replay. Alright, right there. Let's take a look at this. Actually, we'll come back this way. I know it's kind of loud. I'm going to turn down the volume a little bit. Alright, there we go. Yeah, it definitely floated it there. Yeah, see, the spoilers came up before I put the thrust reversers on. Alright, so the spoilers did come up before thrust reversers. It looks like the spoilers do come up with the thrust reversers, though. So, I don't know if that's just the way it really works. Don't know. Alright, let's hop back in the plane here. And let's go ahead and we'll just shut her down. We don't need that. Okay. That's it. We'll just shut down and see what it sounds like. Definitely quieter in the back. On the back view, that is. Alright, so that's our first test flight of the Zibo 3.24 Echo release. We survived and learned a little bit. Thanks for watching. Go ahead and hit subscribe to the channel and hit the like button. Help me out with the channel here on YouTube. Appreciate you watching. Till next time. Bye.